Hey guys, it's Stacy and today I'm here to film my February wrap-up. I read a total of 9 books this month, which is pretty good since February is the shortest month of the year. We're just gonna get into it since I read so many. So yeah, the first book I finished in February was Kiss of the Night by Sherilyn Kenyon, and I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. This is the 4th or 5th book in the Dark Hunter series. I don't remember which one. This is so far my least favorite one because I did not like the male character Wolf that much. I did really like the female character Cassandra. I can't say much about it, but if you're new here, hi, I talk about Sherilyn Kenyon a lot. It was good. I still really enjoyed it. Of course I did. It's Sherilyn Kenyon. It's a Dark Hunter book. I'm gonna enjoy it regardless, but it was my least favorite because Wolf is not my favorite character. And the next book I read was Georgia Peaches and Other Forbidden Fruit by J. Robin Brown, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. This book was so cute. This is a LGBTQ book with lesbian representation. It's about a girl whose father is a preacher basically, and they move to a new small town after he gets remarried, and he asks her to go back into the closet because she is a very out and open lesbian, and it's just kind of the repercussions of that, you know, who really accepts her, and she meets a girl who she's in love with and all that fun stuff. This book really hit home for me, like related really hard, especially to the religion aspect. I am not a religious person anymore, but I still live and I grew up in such a religious family. This book hit some notes for me that just really hurt my heart. So the next book I read, I don't actually have a physical copy, and I don't know how to do the stupid picture thing because I'm lazy, but it was Sleeping Giants by some dude's name I can't say. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It's an adult sci-fi book about this girl who, when she's like 11, she finds this big metal hand in the ground, and then when she's older she's charged to putting that hand with the rest of the body. I don't know. It was a cool story, but I felt no connection to the characters whatsoever. Like, it just, I didn't connect to them. It just wasn't. I have to have character connection to really give this book like a higher rating. Like, concept wise and science wise, like, it was a good, like, solid 4.5 stars. But since I felt nothing for the characters, it's like a 3.5 stars. It's really a story, and I would highly recommend it. And I'm going to be reading the second one because it is on the short list for the BookTube SSF Awards. I'll be reading it eventually whenever I get my copy from the library, but yeah. The next book I read was Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning, and I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I love this. I've talked about this in my favorite urban fantasy video that I recently did. This was so good. So good. I loved it so much. I bought the complete rest of the series because I'm gonna like binge it soon. But I loved it. It follows a girl named Mac. She goes to Ireland to solve her sister's murder. And there's the world of Fae. There's a man named Jericho Barons who's a butthead, but I love him, and it's just, this was so good, like really good, and I highly recommend it. 4 to 5 stars, loved it, can't wait to read the rest. The next thing I read was actually a graphic novel, and that is The Blood Volume 2 Monstrous by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. This is also on the short list for the BookTube SFF Awards. I love this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Like, this is my favorite graphic novel series. Like, one, the art is freaking, like, beautiful. Like, look at that art. Like, it is just some of the prettiest artwork I have ever seen in my entire life. I love it. I can't really explain this because it's easier just to go into it blind because this is such a weird series and sometimes it is hard to follow along, but I loved it so much. Like, it was so good. So highly recommend this. The first one, I don't know what the first one's called, but this is the second one. Read this graphic novel series. It's great. It's beautiful. If you like weird, it's definitely got some gore in it, so yeah. The next book I read was Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It's very short though, and it's so good. And I'm like, it follows a boy who starts writing letters to Martin Luther King about like what he would do in these times. It's about police brutality. It's about discrimination. If you like The Hate U Give, definitely read this. It didn't get a solid 5 out of 5 stars for me because, one, it is so short, and two, some of the dialogue fell off for me, like the interactions between characters and the way characters spoke to each other. I don't know if that was just me or I just didn't click with the writing all too well, but I still really enjoyed it. I still highly recommend this. I read this in a day. It was great. I cried a little bit. I love it very, very much. So the next two books I read are part of the same series, and that is Truth Witch and Wind Witch, both by Susan Dennard. I read both of these back to back. I gave this one 4 stars, this one 4.5 stars. If you have not noticed, I put it in my last video, was why you should read Truth Witch. This is my new favorite YA fantasy series. I'm not going to explain the plot of this book since I did make a whole video on why you should watch it, so why you should read it, so go watch that. But I love these books so freaking much. Like, they're amazing, the covers are gorgeous. I'm so excited to read Sight Witch. I want Blood Witch like yesterday. I just love these so much. They're so freaking good. Like, read Truth Witch if you haven't, and if you didn't like Truth Witch, read Wind Witch still because it's great. I love these books so much. And the last book I read was After You by Jojo Moyes. This is the sequel to Me Before You. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars. I have a lot of feelings on this book, and I'm going to do like a whole spoilery book talk for it, but I've got a lot of feelings on this book. On the one hand, I really enjoyed it because I love Lou as a character, and I love Jojo Moyes' writing, and I love the depiction of grief in this and grief counseling, but then I hate Lou's family with a burning passion. Like, in the first book, they were the same way. They do not support their children they don't support Lou in anything she does. Like, even if you don't agree with it, support your kid. I hate her family so much. And there was the use of the word retarded in here as a insult and very loosely thrown around, which also made me knock it down in star rating, but I still enjoyed this. I'm going to do a whole spoilery book talk on this, so yeah. That is it for today's video. Comment what you read in February, and if you've read any of these, and I will see you guys in another video.